Greetings, Sentinels fans! It's always a fun thought experiment to think of your own fan-made hero decks. So, let's spend today talking about that, shall we? Quick disclaimer. While I have dabbled a little bit in creating hero decks, I haven't actually publicly shared any. So I have no idea if my advice is all that, well, relevant. If anybody has better advice, then listen to them. I'm just talking about my thoughts. Now, all the deep dive videos that I've been doing have been with the idea that someone could take that kind of critical thinking when creating decks. Heck, a common avenue of conversation is how to fix or change a deck to make it more enjoyable. A great thing about making decks in Sentinels, there's only one rule that is absolutely essential. The character has to be able to deal some form of damage on their own. I say this because there is always a chance that your hero will be the last hero standing, and if they can't deal damage at all, well, sucks to be you, I guess. Even characters with heavy support elements can do some damage. Although, like I said with the discussion of damage video, I do feel bad for any player that ends up with Dr. Medico as the last hero standing. But considering a hero deck is 40 cards, I think having a hero deck with 3 or 4 cards dedicated to damage at least, that's fine. But after that, Bob's your uncle. So for creating hero decks, first, what kind of deck do you intend to make and how do you approach it? While decks are certainly capable of having multiple purposes, most of them have a focus. Yes, Argent Adept can be a damage dealer, but most of the time he is best for boosting his fellow heroes. You could play Lifeline for his support skills, but you know you chose him to play a Reckless Assault. The real exception here are the jack-of-all-trades characters like Wraith and Tempest, who excel at a variety of different tasks. But of course, don't be so married to your concept that you can't have some fun experimenting with weird stuff. Some of the more entertaining moments of the game can stem from characters playing against type. Unity inconveniences herself and the other heroes, so she can put her friends on the field, but her Hasty Augmentation card gives her a small support ability, providing a friend an extra power as well as making that power more powerful. The fact that Cosmic isn't a damage dealer does mean that when he does hit things, it feels pretty good. So considering deck composition, you want most of your deck on theme with a few fun exceptions. And of course, whatever you have your heroes do, you will need them to be good at it. I personally think it's best to compare what your characters can do to what the canon heroes can do. My rule of thumb is always keep the core game heroes in mind when creating cards. This would help prevent you from setting their power levels too high or too low. Remember my whole thing of me comparing Expatriate to Wraith? Now of course, you are allowed to skew power levels up or down. Not every hero is created equal, nor should they be. But never create a hero that can replace or be replaced by another hero. Everyone needs a reason for a player to want to bring them to the table. Also, play to a theme. Sentinels loves its theme-based characters, and thus having a specific style will be one of the big draws of your character. Now, while those are the big parts, there are a few other things worth consideration. Chief among them, what will you do about ongoing and environment destruction? Can't have too many, as they are valuable commodities, and if you spend every round blowing up environment cards that show up, the environment becomes a bit of a non-factor. This is also why repeatable destruction effects are rare. They are usually tied to one-shots or single-use ongoing or equipment cards. You will also notice that most of these cards give you a small bonus on top of the destruction, allowing more ways to tune the feel of your hero. Do you lock off what they target, or do you allow both ongoing and environment destruction? Do you destroy more than one at a time? Heck, do you decide not to give any destruction effects at all? After all, Legacy can do a lot of things, but he can't get rid of ongoing or environment cards. Freedom 5 variant notwithstanding, of course. Ra doesn't care about those destruction effects, he just wants to burninate everything. Even later characters like Cosmic and the Sentinels don't have destruction effects. Most heroes have them to some degree as they are useful, but not all of them need it. You'll have to put some similar thought to power boosts, armor, shielding, redirects, and irreducible damage. Also, any other nutso abilities you can envision. Think about how they can change the game. And finally, playtest, playtest, playtest. Especially with people who are not you. Other people will approach problems differently from how you do. Other people will have their own favorite heroes, so they will consider your character in relation to their favorites. Those players will be able to find the weird strategies and synergies that you might not think of, and at the very least show where tweaking needs to happen. Boost one card, weaken another, that kind of deal. One last thing worth mentioning. While choosing your character's superpowers will go a long way towards figuring out that hero's style, it's not the end-all be-all of your hero. The power itself matters much less than how your hero uses it. Remember, Haka and Mainstay have essentially the same superpowers, super strength and durability, but their decks play so differently. Heck, if my superpower is that I have a cool computer, I could be a hacker, or a tactical advisor, or I can even use the computer as a melee weapon. Hey, if it works. Be creative, have fun, see what kind of awesomeness you can come up with. I hope that stirs your creative juices a little bit. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care, friends. Dear Lord, I probably should have shaved before I started this.